Hey guys, what is up and welcome back to my channel. Another day, another drama, and today we're going to be finally finishing out my T-Trigger and Ellie series with part 3 with the shady truth about T-Trigger. Now, if you haven't been following the story or it's been a while, I will give you guys a quick refresher about how we got here. On June 2nd, Will tweeted out the following. Here are some messages between two people trying to prove I'm not a child by stalking me at TTriggerYT, at LNR3. Y'all are adults, stop being creeps and get a life. T-Trigger, you have a wife and kids. Do better. And then he shared these screenshots which showed them talking about a photo and how they don't believe that he is a minor because it appears that he has a tattoo. And Ellie says, no, I think that's just a sleeve. You can order that on Amazon. And then T-Trigger continued on to say, well, I'm going to download all of his photos and go over them because I believe that they might be photoshopped. And then the reason that we got here, according to T-Trigger, was because Ellie tweeted this out on December 4th saying, I'm starting to think that this T-Spell-Stan account is not a kid. They do not speak or think like a 14-year-old. Now, that is the screenshot that everybody kept going after saying, okay, this was all started by Ellie. But you know what? That is absolutely not true. She was not the first one to bring it up. It was T-Trigger. As you can see here in this screenshot, someone says in a DM to T-Trigger, why is T-Spell-Stan dictating what your content should be? Where does that level of confidence stem from? And then shared a tweet from T-Trigger that says, I've been holding back with her for a while now. There are some things that need to be addressed. Will responds with saying, she's not a huge drama channel, it's the holidays. She has been struggling a lot with the hate, it's not a good time. To which T-Trigger replies back saying, in time. And this was on December 1st. And if you're wondering about the time change difference, it's because they're in a different country. So then you can see that T-Trigger replies saying, I know, right? I'm not sold that he is a kid, or that he's a he at all. I always thought it was T-Spill. So there you have it. On November 30th at 9:21 a.m., T-Trigger is questioning whether or not Will is a child and whether or not Will is even Will. So that was almost an entire week before Ellie sent out her thing saying, I'm starting to believe that this T-Spell-Stan account might not be a child. Well, then it keeps going from there. In this screenshot you see, T-Trigger responds to a now deleted tweet with 3 eye look emojis. Will replies back saying, it's really funny, it's so funny, but I don't want to get cancelled by the Mean Girls clique. To which T-Trigger replies saying, but don't get cancelled. And that was at 10:07 a.m. on November 30th, approximately 30 minutes after he said that he does not believe that Will is a child or that Will is Will at all. And then you can see that Will responds by saying, I texted you it, LOL. So right there we have proof that Will and T-Trigger had exchanged phone numbers because Will said, I texted you it. Now texted means phone. I'm sorry, that's just what it means to me. You don't say I texted you it if you meant I sent you a DM. If you say I texted you it, that means you sent a text message. That's how I am interpreting it. If that is not correct, then they used the wrong verbiage for how that was sent, but right there it says I texted you it. And I know some people will be like, well, maybe they were using WhatsApp or something, but when I use WhatsApp or anything else as a messenger, I say, I sent you a message on this program. I don't say that I texted you it. So to me, it sounds like they had each other's phone numbers. So if T-Trigger was so concerned that this person was not who they were saying to be, they were not a child, and he thought it might have been T-Spill, why wouldn't you just pick up the phone and call and be like, hey, can we have a quick little chat? Or hey, you want to hop on FaceTime real quick? I got to ask some questions to you, and just ask him some questions so then you have proof that who you're talking to is who you're talking to. That would have been an easy way to solve the problem, but instead you still believed that this person was not who they said that they were. And then on December 11th, T-Trigger replied to a tweet from Will that said, I appreciate your support, to which Will replied saying, I appreciate your channel. And that's on December 11th. That was 7 days after Ellie sent her message back to T-Trigger saying that she didn't believe that Will was who Will was saying either. So T-Trigger started by saying, I don't think that Will is Will, and I think it could be T-Spell or it could be somebody else. And then Ellie agrees saying, I don't think Will is who he's saying either. But T-Trigger keeps on responding and messaging Will, even though he doesn't believe that Will is who Will says he is. Now, you have this person's phone number. Why have you not called them and solved this real quick? But it just keeps getting worse from there, so let's continue. Jumping back to June 2nd, Will tweeted, T-Trigger is now private and conspiracy. His wife, who pretended to be my friend, deactivated her account. Bye. Now, the reason that I'm bringing up this tweet because T-Trigger's wife was also heavily involved in everything behind the scenes. T-Trigger's wife shared one of Will's tweets in a DM saying, "Anyone want to lose a few brain cells?" And that was on February 22nd at 10:50 a.m. And then on February 22nd at 11:31 a.m., I'll screen record the voice memos just in case, of him saying he gave information to the Hartouche on Sam. I have screenshots saved as well of Will saying he is partially responsible for Spill's doxing. So if Will's sending you voice memos, why haven't you been able to detect whether or not he is a child? Also, if you're comfortable enough with sending voice memos, why haven't you just hopped on the phone and got on FaceTime? And at this time, they still believe that Will is not a child just based off of a hunch because they don't believe that it's true. Will then responds to a tweet that says, "T-Trigger did ask if I was okay, lol, but I'm so confused by now out of nowhere it's wrong for anyone to retweet something with a minor's picture." To which somebody replied saying, "Sorry, no one should retweet any looks of yours now that is an adult. My apologies to Trig for assuming. I didn't think he would reach out." To which T-Trigger replied saying, "I expect adults to have the cognitive ability to understand when they are putting minors in danger. Do you need to go back and read your own tweet? Because Will said that he was a minor before, and you had no problem thinking that he wasn't and looked into him and dissected all of his photos to make sure that he was who he was saying that he was because you didn't believe that he was. So you're telling me that you expect adults to have the cognitive ability to tell when they're putting a minor in danger? But yet you are trying to look into this child because you don't believe that they are a child. Maybe you should take a second and go back and read your old tweets." T-Trigger then replied to somebody's tweet that said, "I don't give a if people are subtweeting you. Karma is now on and you're now acting like victim." To which T-Trigger replied saying, "Remember that there are three sides, and people are very good at manipulating the narrative. I would suggest you talk with the person you're subtweeting to get their side." Which is so funny because T-Trigger loved to subtweet people while he was on Twitter, so I don't know why he's saying, stop subtweeting and talk to the person you're subtweeting to get their side. Because you love to subtweet, T-Trigger. You did. And then on top of that, T-Trigger's wife decided that she would make a hierarchy of people on Twitter and of the drama channels, as you can see in this tweet here. And then the next two screenshots are going to be a little confusing at first, but I promise they make sense a little bit later on. Here we see a screenshot of T-Trigger quote tweeting Cup of Tea, where he says, "Be careful emailing. This is a way to get metadata and possibly your IP address." And then this is a screenshot from a message from T-Trigger's wife that says, "When Trig told me about drag blackface thing, I immediately was like, that. And it wasn't until weeks later that I understood. I refused to look at the information or even entertain it because I was like, drag is a black man's art. But now I realize that drag is to women what blackface is to black people. And who am I to tell a woman they can't be offended by drag just because I'm not? But a black person is more than justified in being offended by the comparison. I was offended at first." Now again, that message might seem a little weird, but I promise it has context in an audio clip that I will show you shortly. And then it appears that members of their group chat seem to be oddly obsessed with me, as you can see in the following screenshots. Someone sent T-Trigger one of my tweets and goes, "I wonder if this is about you." T-Trigger goes, "Of course it is." And they reply, T-Trigger says, "Here we go. I'm not worried about Bruce. He can say whatever he wants." T-Trigger says, "Anybody know what Bruce called out Dustbin for?" Wow, who would willingly want to be Dustin? No one in their right mind. Which is why we know Bruce is a moron. T-Trigger says, "There's a window in the kitchen that leaks air. There's a cool draft when you're close. I named it Bruce Allen, lol. Yes, snake in the grass. That's Bruce." Maybe somebody let something slip in Jamie's Discord. Bruce has been spying in there to my understanding. Could Bold be Bruce? Were they accusing me of being a different account? No one with a lick of sense is buying what Bruce is selling. I'm so petty, and you can see that they sent a screenshot of my live where they gave me a thumbs down. Now, I'm not exactly sure why these people are so obsessed with me, but the fact that they've looked into Will, I wouldn't doubt it if they looked into me too, but guess what? You're not gonna find anything, because unlike you, I don't have multiple accounts. I have one other account that I use for adult things, and that is it. And no, it's not of me posting my own photos, so don't even bother going to look to share those around because those don't exist on Twitter. And then next, T-Trigger decided that he wanted to destroy Paige's husband's business so he could take down Paige. and he decided that he would do that by taking down Allie. That would be the way to destroy Paige's husband's business and take down Paige, as you can see in the following screenshots. T-Trigger shared Paige's husband's business tweet in a DM for Happy Women's Day 2020, and he said, "You see this? Allie. Allie is represented by Paige and hubby. So if we can take Allie down..." Like, what is wrong with these people where they think it's fine to take Allie down and ruin Allie's life so they can take Paige and her husband down and destroy his business and ruin their life? Like, what is wrong in your head that you think that something like this is okay? It makes absolutely no sense to the normal person why anybody would think that this type of behavior is acceptable. It's disturbing. And then we're going to get in some screenshots of proof that T-Trigger had multiple accounts, and then we will get into their audio recording that is even more damaging. T-Trigger tweeted on February 28th, "It's driving me nuts, but I haven't had a sock for a while. I'm blocked by most of that crew. I might need to start a new one." On March 2nd, T-Trigger's wife said in a message, "I agree. I told him to make a new sock for trolling. If he stays out of trouble, the channel will do really well." On February 3rd, T-Trigger said, "Frig off Ricky is my alt." On March 9th, T-Trigger said, "Ivy, follow me from your other side account. Ellie, I started a new sock, the Nibbler. I need followers though." So he said he hadn't had a sock account in a while. Then a month after he sent that message out, he created another sock account. So there's at least 2 that we know of that he has. Alright, now let's go ahead and get into some audio clips that show you even more about who these people truly are.
Her husband just like did blackface or something, it's funny.
Blackface?
I don't know, I saw like quick bits on Twitter. Sorry if that's not you, but I'm pretty sure.
Thanks.
So there we have T-Trigger's wife Ivy laughing at the fact that somebody just did blackface in the past month. Like, really? Really? You seriously think that blackface is funny? Wow.
It's kind of brutal. I've sat back for, what, a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks now, and just kind of like, just paid attention to what's going on in the community, and you guys are insane. All of you.
Okay, so here we have T-Trigger at the beginning of this audio clip say that he sat back for the past few weeks and observed everybody and what was going on. So according to T-Trigger right there, he's been online watching everybody. But then later in the audio clip, they go ahead and say this.
With all the accounts that people are calling us out on, saying that it's us, like we haven't been online for about what 3 weeks, 4 weeks now, 3 weeks, 4
3
weeks,
weeks,
whatever it
at least
was.
3 weeks, I think. I think it's been a little bit more, maybe close to 4 weeks.
So you said that you haven't been online for like 3, maybe even 4 weeks. But earlier in that audio, you literally said that you have been watching for the past few weeks. Go ahead and play both those audios back to back so you can hear that again.
It's kind of brutal. I've sat back for, what, a couple weeks, 2-3 weeks now, and just kind of like, just paid attention to what's going on in the community, and you guys are insane. All of you. With all the accounts that people are calling us out on, saying that it's us, like we haven't been online for about what 3 weeks, 4 weeks now, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it was.
3 weeks, I think. I think it's been a little bit more, maybe close to 4 weeks.
So there you have it. In this audio clip that was about 4 hours long, they can't even keep their own lies straight.
Hello, Trig. Where you been? Miss you very much. What crazy?
It's. I just had to like.
If you don't know, you probably don't want to know.
Yeah, it was just time to like just take a break for a little bit because there's a lot of crazy shit being said, and it's hard to decipher when like 75% of what is said about yourself and is not true. So it was hard to like. So I just like I don't know.
So somebody right there asked them where they've been, and instead of admitting to what happened, they said, well, there's just a bunch of lies that are being spread about us, and if you don't know what's going on, you don't want to know, and we're basically not going to tell you. And instead of addressing everything, we ran off the internet, and we hoped that we could come back and there wouldn't be any problems.
Yeah, we had that conversation of, like, what if Trig came back and was just like, I don't give a fuck anymore, like, fuck your political correctness, like, fuck my dick, bitches, like...
Bruce Allen.
Wow, that's very classy of you guys. Clearly, I must have hit a nerve if that's how you feel.
If you email also, so if I sent you an email address, an email from my email to yours, like Adobe has programs, or like you can go online and put the email through this program and it gets all the metadata, and the metadata will show like what kind of software you're using, the computer, probably IP, maybe your email, like all kinds of things. So that's another way. So if ever you email directly with them, that's why I'm always super sketched out with Google Drives or anything like that, because these are ways that you can get more data if you pay for a service or whatnot. You could probably get it easier than just by phishing, I guess.
So remember when T-Trigger was accusing Ellie of having some kind of IT specialist to track people down? Well, it turns out that he was doing the exact same thing and sharing that information with people, so he is just as responsible for looking into people as everybody else is. So he always likes to portray this holier than thou, but guess what? He's just as bad, and all of this stuff just proves it. So T-Trigger, you're not some social justice warrior as you try to portray yourself to be, you're just one giant troll.